Whoa, wow, Willy here. I tell you what, drinking my coconut water. Got food poisoning about 8 o'clock last night, 7:30 last night. Oh my gosh, let me tell you what, I thought I was going to die pooping and puking at the same time. Oh, I decided you empty all the contents of your stomach, and then there's still the bacteria or whatever, the bugs, little bugs in there, and worms, and your body just pumps a whole gallon of bile in there because you drink anything and it just ejects, and then just getting it all out. And so drinking is good. Oh my gosh. Anyways, here's a comprehensive teaching of a lot of different things I wanted to talk about. I'm going to be making a separate channel where I refute every claim made by Teal Swan and explain why she's wrong. It's going to be called The Barbecued Swan. I'm just kidding. I like everything about that woman. If you want to learn the truth, study Buddhism. If you want to develop faith, study religion. Truth and faith are both needed. Truth is choice, it's left brain. Faith is limits, it's right brain. Historical facts are something that are totally removed from all of our knowing, and the faith we put in narratives or historical narratives, the faith we put in only works to reinforce our sense of faith and or truth. How you worship and study is totally a personal matter, reflective upon your yin and yang energy. Now, there's two kinds of truths. Okay, we're gonna go through all this stuff. There's two kinds of truths. There's the truth, and then there's your truth. So as you grow up and move through life, things happen. You think about them. Now, giving yourself attention and having an open mind are the most important things here in spiritual growth. If you're not paying attention to yourself, listening to your thoughts, if you're not having an open mind, being willing to challenge what you think, challenge what other people think, you're not going to get it. And it's sad because the people who need it the most often are the people who have learned to be closed off, learn to be defensive. And opening up is like the scariest thing, but you have to have an open mind, and you have to be willing to give yourself attention. But as you go through life, things happen, you do those things, you think about them, you examine yourself, examine your thoughts, you learn your personal truths, what you like, what you prefer, what feels good to you. What you think is right or wrong in this situation, that's your personal truths. Right? But that's not necessarily the truths. Like, that's not the truth. Right? Like, maybe you like the Republican Party over the Democratic Party, or maybe you hate Donald Trump and you love the Democrats and you hate the Republicans. Right? That's not truth. That's your truth. But what's the truth in that? I don't trust any of them. Is that the truth? I don't know. That's my truth. But learning what the truth is something separate. The truth can be, anything that happens can be reduced down to the truth, right? So I'm a reductionist and integrative thinker, okay? So I like to look for the correlates and all these different things, all these different models, all these different teachings, and I like to take them down to the lowest level of truth. The correlates at the lowest level of truth. So this is what I'm talking about today. Faith is a mechanistic action. It serves a purpose for you. If you put your faith in some narrative and I put my faith in a different narrative, what does that do? You take a Mormon, Christian, Jehovah's Witnesses, all Christians, right? Different narratives. They all believe in different narratives. What does their faith in each different narrative do for them? Well, it causes them to worship different. That's all. That is all. One people are standing up singing hallelujah and they're rolling around and there's a rock band. The other people, they're laughing at the little kids running with the 6-foot long boom mic. And they're studying analytical principles. Yeah, and then the other people are being austere, singing like 200-year-old songs. Okay, whatever. And they're doing rituals. Okay, and they're doing rites. Whatever. That's how they want to worship. It's mastery for them. This is what we're talking about, guys. We're talking about mastery. So the truth, that's Buddhism. I've talked about that many times before. The truth is this. Things will happen in this life that you don't want. I didn't want to be sick last night. Did not have a choice in that. I did not know that the salad I was going to eat or the chicken I was going to eat was contaminated. But it was. And it did happen. And I was sick. And the level of suffering that I experienced in that was minimized to the level of this is happening right now and there's nothing I can do about it. And not all this mental resistance to what was happening. I accepted the reality as it was for myself. And that's basically the ultimate truth. You accept the reality as it is for yourself. You see the reality as it is. Right? So it's interesting. Truth and the truth, your truth and the truth, they converge at a specific point. Okay? They converge at a specific point. And that point is when you realize the truth about you. When you realize the truth about you, you have mastered truth. You have mastered truth. And then you can ascend into the next category, which is faith. Because the truth about you, there is no you. There is no you. Truly! This coconut water is good stuff. I got that's a paid promotion. No, it's not. It's Then you can move on to faith. You think it's the final goal when you experience it, but it isn't. You still have half a brain to unlock, to open, to master, to learn about. So we're going to talk about faith. There's two types of faith. There's positive faith. There's negative faith. Faith is, it's going to be all right. Truth is this moment right now. I've talked about this. Faith is past. Faith is future. I don't know what tomorrow. I can see right now. I cannot see yet tomorrow. I can't really see yesterday anymore, except for a memory. Faith is seeing things that aren't there. Believing in things that aren't there. I don't know what tomorrow's going to hold. I don't know what the end of the week's going to hold. It's always something different, right? Learning how to walk in positive faith, being that it's going to be okay. Tomorrow's going to be okay. And there's all these narratives in the media, narratives from your family, narratives from all the people in the nebulous around your little world. And they all tell you things. And you swirl around these things they tell you, and you start to freak out. Start to lose it. Yeah, maybe the Chinese are going to come here and they're going to invade us, or maybe Russia's going to invade us, or maybe there's a UFO coming out of the ocean and he's going to invade us, or maybe this is going to happen. They're going to give us all chips and all these things. Whoa, you're spiraling. There's no faith in that. And there's no real discernible truth in that, other than we already know that life is suffering. Some outcome that may happen tomorrow may bring about suffering for you right now. That's true, right? Or tomorrow, as right now. But that's not faith. That's not faith. That's the only discernible truth. And all the other extraneous stuff is not, it's not necessary. It's nonsense. It gets you lost. So what's the faith in this situation? It's going to be all right. It's all right right now. It's going to be all right. I'm going to get better. I'm not going to be puking. It's amazing. 9:30, 10:30. I feel great. Well, I feel okay. But I ain't puking. I ain't pooping. It's better. It's going to get even more better tomorrow. I know, it's fine. That's faith. Everything is going to be all right. And that stops you. That stops you from living in, trying to find the truth in something there's no discernible truth in. And now, what do these two components of your mind do? Well, faith masters fear, and it gets you into the present moment. It takes you out of the forward thinking, or it takes you out of rolling in the guilt from your past actions that you can't really see anymore. It gets you out of that. It brings you back to truth. The truth is this moment right here. And this is all taking us to mastery. Okay, so what is mastery? Mastery is detachment and the ending of attachment. If I'm attached to the outcome of the past that was unwanted, and I'm rolling in the past, there's no discernible truths there. Maybe there is, but not really in the way I'm rolling in them. So faith says it's going to be all right. This was God's plan for you. See, God and religion is a tool for you to strengthen your faith, right? It's going to be all right. If you can't say it's going to be all right, and you need a whole narrative structure in your mind to help you say that, sometimes it's God. Sometimes it's Jesus Christ. I couldn't do this, man. I came to this world, I could not do this stuff. But through Jesus, I can do all things. He strengthens me. You know what I'm saying? I can do this stuff. That's faith. It's going to be all right. You see what I'm saying? I got derailed. And truth principles, you don't need to learn every single truth principle, right? This is the truth right now, this moment, this direct experience. And that's mastery. And when we're looking at mastery, we're looking at ending attachment and being detached. I had something I was attached to. It was going to happen in the future. It didn't happen. I was really angry. I chose to walk in faith about that thing. It's going to be all right. And I detached from that wanted outcome that didn't transpire. Now I have no job. Now I'm going to be out of the college here because I needed that job. But it's going to be okay. Something else is in store for me, right? Another thing I want to talk about this, I need to explain detachment, what detachment is and what ending attachment is. But another thing that you can really do as a measure in terms of whether or not you have unlocked truth totally for yourself, or whether you are residing in the world of faith for yourself totally, perfectly, is your understanding and consideration towards free will. Like if you believe in free will, you have not discovered yet the full truths. Okay, now this is a difficult statement, right? Because I'm challenging your beliefs out there. Now, if you have an open mind and you're willing to give attention to yourself and consider these statements, you might grow and you might learn something here. But if you're totally defensive in this, well, he's talking about this and I don't believe in that, then you're never going to look at that and you're never going to see the potential truth within that, right? If you believe in free will, you have not fully yet mastered truth, okay? If you believe in destiny, you're in the faith side. Because think about it. I can create whatever world I want to create. That's all rooted around the self. And I told you, the final truth, where the truth converges with your truth, is that there is no you, right? So how can you, if there is no you, create anything in your life? Who then creates the things for you in your life? Force I cannot see. And that's faith. And that is faith. God, the universe, whoever, whatever, right? That's faith. This is destiny, man. This body was born into this environment, into all these circumstances, all these situations, all these factors. It's on its own trajectory. My purpose here is just to learn to be aware of how all of these things around me are limits on my functioning. And that's the thing. See, truth is choice. If I'm trying to figure out all the truths, I have all these ideas that I can choose and I can pick and I can put them together. And does it work? Nah, not really perfectly. Let's find a different one that works perfectly. And then when it does, when it works perfectly, your choices become limited. They're going to bottleneck at some point. They're going to converge at one point, and they do, right? And faith is limits. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I had this plan all worked out, and it did not transpire for me the way I thought it would. It's going to be okay. I'm not in control here. I am not in control here. You see, both are necessary. It's both important to understand that free will and destiny are just components of these hemispheres of our brains, based on truth, based on choices, based on faith, based on limits, right? We are so attached to these ideas, to these concepts, and this keeps us out of mastery, which is detachment and ending attachment. Okay, finally, let's get there. In order to end attachment, because there's two things, and one is enough, but you really need the other one also. You see what I'm saying? So, in order to end attachment, you must first know what it is you're attached to, and then you have to see why it no longer is serving you to be attached to that thing. This is no longer serving me. You have to do that. At first, when you're learning this, it's kind of a lot of like collateral damage in that sometimes. But it gets easier. Me stressing out about what's going to happen tomorrow with my situation that I was kind of attached to, I was kind of planning my life on, right? Planning my life on. didn't follow through. Okay, I have to be unattached to this outcome because it's just making me angry and it's just making me stressed out. You see? So I was able to see that, and I was able to unattach from that. Okay? So in order to be unattached, to end attachment for yourself, you have to see what it is you're attached to first, and it takes attention, self-attention, and it takes having an open mind, because I got to figure out what it is I'm attached to. Right? Weed my way through all the content and get to the nature, the source, right, of this stuff. And then I can see, oh, this ain't working for me. I'm going to reside in faith. I'm going to strengthen my faith right now. I'm going to live in faith. Right? Now, detachment is different. Detachment is really a practice. It's a great practice. And I'm not directly quoting Nigar Sadada when I say this, but basically we're saying the same thing here. In order to be detached and to practice being detached, you have to find the space and reside in the space that arises before whatever it is that arises. That's kind of what he says. Whatever it is before, that's what you are. It's true though. Think about it. Okay, this thing was supposed to happen for me. I had this plan out. It's kind of attached to the outcome because it means that my life could still function good. And it didn't happen. And it didn't happen, and it brought up all this fear in me. And then I started to become the fearful thoughts. The fearful thoughts started to take over my whole experience in my days, and I started to become angry because this guy betrayed me, right, or whatever. Okay, but what is the space before the fear arose? Be that. Practice finding that space and be that. Well, before the fear arose, I don't know what was there. Nothing was there. So the fear can be there. Understand that the fear can be there. But instead of identifying with the fear, identify with the space that was there before the fear arose. That's how you practice detachment. Okay? So you just step into that space. You say, oh yeah, I'm pretty afraid right now, but this is fear. This is fear. This fear doesn't need to turn me into a freaking lunatic. This is just fear. I don't know what's going to happen. So you need truth. You need faith. And Christianity helps people to learn and strengthen faith. Historical facts, we don't know anything about that. Your personal style of worship, your personal style of expression, that's up to you. Right? So I'm not going to trash any of these people out here. But we're all trying to do the same things in order to attain detachment and the ending to attachment, which is mastery. We have to have truth. We have to have faith. We have to have self-attention, and we have to have an open mind. And that's it, folks. And I hope this video was good for you. It was good for me. Almost out of coconut water. I'm going to go on to my next things. Till next time, while we're out, look for my barbecued swan channel.